in State College, Pennsylvania. As we'll see a squad from Conference USA, the Florida International Panthers, taking on the second-ranked team in the land, the Penn State Nittany Lions. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. The Nittany Lions' long wait is coming to an end as they'll put a foot to it and the season will get underway. And he takes this from inside the 5. The coverage team maintains his discipline, not much doing on that return. The Panthers' offense will take the field first. If you look at this game on paper, it really shouldn't be much of a matchup. You have a high-powered offense against, candidly, an overmatched opponent. But, hey, you never know. You got to line up and play the game.
On paper, this is a horrible matchup. But this game's not played on paper, right? Like, this defense, they're going to have to play their best game. They're going to have to play more consistent than they have. They haven't tackled well this season. They're going to have to play their best game against a great opponent. But we've seen upsets happen. They got to get some adrenaline, some emotion, something good to happen early.
I think it has to happen early, David, and then the question is, can they maintain that over the course of the entire game? Listen, it's college football. 18 to 22-year-olds, and maybe this offense just thinks they can come out here and roll their helmet out on the field, and that's going to get it done. We've seen crazy stuff happen, but no doubt, this defense has to play out of their minds today to have any shot.
This crowd going to try to make life miserable for these guys. Finds a little space. They'll keep this drive moving by picking up the first down. They have it at the 36. FIU pushing tempo.
He did a really good job on third down, knowing where the sticks were, making sure he got past it. Listen, quarterbacks can get hit near the goal line punching in. On third down, those are those situations where it's okay to put the quarterback's body on the line.
He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. All right, guys, let's talk about Florida International. The only important expectations are the ones inside the program, but when you start the season on the outside of the rankings looking in, it can give you a little bit of an edge, can it?
Yeah, they want to prove to everybody they should have been ranked coming into this year. These players are angry. They feel like they're being disrespected, and they want to make a point to the entire college football world with a big win today.
Here comes the rush, and they've got him wrapped up at the 28.
On third and long, you know what's coming. That's exactly where you want to get an offense. The passing game has to come out. You go nickel, bring some more speed on the field, and the defensive line gets home and gets the sack to force the fourth down.
FIU will line up to punt. They'll boot it away for the first time tonight. Hauls it in, looking for space. Oh, that's a perfect example of not settling for a fair catch. Pick up whatever yardage you can and help out the offense. So the Penn State Nittany Lions offense taking the field. First chance we have to see them today. The give to the running back from the shotgun.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
Working on the right. Makes that one pay off, and they finally get him down at the 38. It'll be first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. The pull and throw off the RPO. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Working well behind the sticks on second down. Got it in the middle. It's Singleton. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. They're looking at a third down and short from the 33. To throw, it's Aller. Finds finds his man. It's Ross. He'll come through on third downs. He's got enough, and they'll mark it at the 23.
Well, we know this guy is special, and because of that, his quarterback is looking to him on critical down and distances. There on that third down, there was no question. It wouldn't have mattered if he was single covered, double covered, man, zone. That's where he was going with it, and the big-time playmaker outside picks up the first.
First down, you know you always want to establish the running game. How about this offense? Nothing fancy. Run the football, be physical, get a big game.
They'll give it to him again. And nowhere to go this time, and he couldn't follow up the big run with another.
That's a fantastic play by the linebacker. He has such tremendous instincts. As soon as he sees run, he's coming downhill. He's got great speed. He gets you on the ground. That's why he's one of the best linebackers in the entire country.
He's tackled right at the 10-yard line, and they're trying to cash in on this drive. Third and long, and they'll need to get it close to the goal line to convert. Snags it. And he will score. Touchdown, Nittany Lions.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. And listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Not a whole lot of room to operate on that return as the coverage unit was there and ready. Guys, FIU ready to go back to work on offense. Finding themselves down 7-0, they'd love to get a drive going here. Give to the running back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. The Panthers want to move quickly.
Well, the defense didn't have a lot of time to celebrate that last big play because here's the offense right away back at the line of scrimmage, ready to roll again with tempo.
Trying play action. He'll loft one deep down the left side. He's got it on the outside. And they finally get him down, but not before. He's got him set up for business at the 49-yard line. Throws to the wideout. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. They make the tackle after the turnover, but hang on just a second. There's a flag on the field. Let's see if it stands. So the offense, more than happy with the result of the play, will decline the penalty. Looking for room. It's Singleton. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Motion from the wideout. Off the bootleg, looking to fire. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
Play-action pass success has a lot to do with selling that fake. You could tell defense was not buying it, got in the backfield, got the big play.
Throws for the tight end. Catch in the middle, it's Dinkins. And they get him down at the 43, but this is the kind of explosive play you want to build on. The Nittany Lions will snap it on 1st and 10. To the ground with the back. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up.
And you want to run the football. That's okay. You'll take some of these. But if they start to add up down the road, obviously, you might want to think about airing it out a little bit.
They go to the Wildcat here, looking to take advantage of that extra blocker. On the direct snap, it's Dinkins. And with that stop, we are headed toward the end of the first quarter. We've reached a break, and Penn State is on top. Guys, let's have a look at the stats as we've played one period. Lots of time left and ready to go back at it here in the second quarter. So they go back to work after the break, and it is third down. Looking for a man. It's Albert. Fires to the right. He's got it.
It is so good for an offense early in the game to get in a rhythm and to start stringing first downs together. It makes the game really easy and puts that defense in a situation where they're starting to get tired. They want to sub. They want to get other guys on the field. Stringing first downs together like this makes it hard to defend.
Fires into the end zone. It falls incomplete. He was trying to find his man for 6.
I think the QB wants that one back. You know, you're down here in the red zone, tighter areas, hard enough to fit it in, but definitely not wanting to fit it in against double coverage, and he misses, and probably a good miss because that could have been worse.
He's tackled right at the 10-yard line, and they're trying to cash in on this drive. Not a lot of ground to cover and not much to defend. A big third down in the red zone. Touchdown, Penn State! That's the way you finish a drive and put up points.
And this offense is firing on all cylinders right now. Starting the year, game 1, and creating a little bit of a pad and separation at the end of this first half. But you can see why so many people are really excited about this offense this season.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Fielded in the end zone, it's Carter. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. FIU gets it back, and the Panthers will send the offense back onto the field. This is when the pressure can ramp up a little bit on an offense, David, when they start feeling the heat to answer a score.
And I think being down 14, you can kind of feel that way. But, dude, if you put a good drive together, this is a 7-point game, so Palmer, no need to panic.
I was just going to say, David, I mean, this thing can flip quick. You go down, score, all of a sudden your defense gets a stop, or who knows, better yet, gets a try.
And the Heat will get home, and the quarterback goes down at the 17. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. And the pressure is coming in, and they get him again.
What a great job by this defense setting the tone early. In the first half, they've been hitting the quarterback early and often. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make him feel that pressure. Keep getting him on the ground. That's why they've built a lead.
A little pressure on the coverage team there, and they'll stop him at the 47-yard line. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. They've been firing on all cylinders, touchdowns on each of the first 2 drives, and they'll try to make it 3 for 3. They go to the ground. Good pickup on that play. It'll bring up 2nd and 4.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
The Nittany Lions with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. He's got it again. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain.
And a lot of times you want those big plays. You want those splash plays, but sometimes you're going to take some losses. You're not going to run the football overly well, but if you continue to run it, you can at least create some balance. You at least have the threat of it. Otherwise, you're just going to abandon it, and now it's just going to be a passing game. And I just need a crease. I need you offensive linemen, just like right here. Great job holding the point of attack. Don't let any penetration come in. Give me a little sliver, and then you see the running back, Palmer. He'll do the rest, lower his shoulder, and make sure he gets the first down.
Yeah, it means a lot to this offense, too, to have a guy like this that always just seems to fall forward. He always, in these short yardage situations, knows where that first down marker is, and he's able to get those hidden yards in piles, driving his legs to help keep this drive alive.
So now it's 2nd and long. Looking to throw, it's out. Unloads to the wideout. He's got an open man. Touchdown, Nittany Lions! Haul that baby in and then strolled into the end zone for the score.
All you can can say is how impressive has this team been at home today in all three facets of the game. Their defense has been outstanding. We've seen some plays in special teams, and the offense continues to deliver, showing off all of the playmakers and all of the versatility they have on that side of the football. This could not be better here in the first half for the home team.
The Florida International offense is back on the field. They just haven't been able to get anything going, and they better get started or it's going to get away from them, David.
Yeah, and these are the weeks that you really wish that you were playing a video game and you could just reset the console, start over, Jesse, and make something better happen early.
They just look like they're sleepwalking in this first half, and it's not just one guy. They just haven't been playing collectively as a unit. And if I'm the head coach, I'm considering starting to give some other dudes some chances here.
Looking to fire. Right down the middle. Finds the big tight end. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. They've been overwhelmed so far in this first half, but if they could muster a score, maybe a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, and I know it's been a struggle. They've been struggling this whole game, but let's get something positive going into halftime. Coaches won't yell at you as much, but they got the first down. Now let's put the pedal to the floor, go a little faster, cut into this lead.
I like this idea by the offense going hurry up here. You just had a very nice run. Let's get back up to the line of scrimmage and go fast.
Quarterback feeling that pressure, and he's knocked down at the 42. FIU pushing tempo. On third down, he drops the throw. And here comes the pressure, and there he goes down again.
Boy, this defense is ridiculous. On point. They know how to rush the passers. Multiple guys getting it done. 5 sacks, and we are still in the first half.
He'll try to field the punt and bring it back. The solid return there offsets some of the punt yardage and really sets up this offense nicely. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. Lining up in the Wildcat. Let's see what they've got. Direct snap. Got the first down and still on his feet. They finally make the stop, and the defense out of sorts against that Wildcat, and they give up a big play. From the 47-yard line on 1st and 10. Dropping back, it's out. He'll get rid of it. And he drops it, just took his eye off of it at the last minute.
And that's one the offense just needs to be able to hit, right? That's a completion they should be able to hit in their sleep. Receivers got to do a better job.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Couldn't connect on 1st down, now back to the air. Grabbed in the backfield, it's Singleton. Open space at the 25. Rustled out of bounds at the 12, and another productive play on this drive.
It feels like everything this play caller has called has worked so far in this first half for the offense. They've generated a really nice lead, lighting up the scoreboard, and they're staying aggressive. They're throwing the football. They're dictating everything right now to the defense.
Touchdown, Penn State! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
Well, when you call the wheel route, you need to have the right matchup, and that time they did. It was the linebacker on the running back, one-on-one. He uses his speed. Beat him to the outside, and that's about as easy as it can get.
Kickoff unit has been busy as they have built a big lead, and they're trying to hold on to it. Coming out with it, it's Carter. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Guys, FIU ready to go back to work on offense. They find themselves in a pretty deep hole here, but maybe a chance to grab a little momentum and regroup at halftime.
Yeah, a big chance. Like, this is an opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity in front of them in the game right now. You got to get some points on the board. You got to create something positive, Jesse. There hasn't been a whole lot to be positive about in the first half.
If I'm playing quarterback, I'm locating my go-to guy at receiver. Who can I count on one-on-one to go and make me a play? Maybe even one-on-two. Who can go up, catch the ball, get us some yards, and get us some points.
On the run, and he'll slide to avoid the big hit. To the air, it's Jenkins. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. FIU will line up to punt. He's getting a lot of work. Fourth time he's punted tonight. He'll haul it in right around the logo. And the punt team able to smack him to the ground. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. So they come to the line, and the Wildcat going to give them a different look. Snap to the back. Picked it off, and this defense really needed something to go right. He's loose on the right. And with the interception, he'll take it all the way back. Touchdown, Panthers.
How about a game-changing play for this defense? Stepping in front of the football and knowing what to do with it, taking it all the way to the end zone.
And he tacks on the extra point. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Makes a move. They bring him down, but not before a really good return sets up this offense in solid field position. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. We thought we'd see a little Wildcat formation in this spot, and here it is. They forged ahead just a bit. Not a lot working with the Wildcat there.
Well, they try to go quarterback design run on that play, but the defense just not buying it. Job, everybody playing downhill and making a tackle close to the line of scrimmage.
Quick toss.
And I think that time the quarterback made the wrong read. He was trying to pitch it. He didn't have to, though. There was a lot of green grass and space out in front of him. If he just holds on to that football, he might not score a touchdown, but he's definitely going to be able to at least get positive yards. I think that's a play on the option the quarterback would like to have back.
Now facing a 3rd and long. They'll send the back in motion. Looking for a man. It's Allard. Fires to the wideout. Makes the grab. They've got it to the 49-yard line, and they'll move the chains. And the Nittany Lions have it with a 1st and 10. Wants to throw on 1st down. He uncorks a bullet to the right. And he bats it away. It falls incomplete.
Well, this defense was ready for go balls. Against this receiver and his speed, he's one of the fastest in the country. They knew this quarterback was going to try to take the top off the defense. That time they couldn't link up, but if you're on defense, just know they're going to try that play again.
On 2nd down, he'll try to make the connection. Pass is incomplete, and we dwindle down to 7 seconds.
There's an example of what happens when the quarterback doesn't have a chance to set his feet. The pressure just forced him to have to work off schedule a little bit, and I think because of that, he wasn't able to be as accurate as he wanted to be.
Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. The play action fake. Unloads to the right. Defense was not fooled for a second, and it'll bring up 4th down.
When you talk about versatility at the running back spot, you got to talk about this guy in the conversation. He already has caught a touchdown on this one. They're still trying to throw him the football. That one goes incomplete, but I would keep this up if I'm on offense.
They'll have just enough time to get one more snap before the half. On fourth down, he'll try to toss it. Pressure is all over him, and he can't get it off. Down he goes, and that'll bring us to the end of the first half. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, one of the best environments in the game, and Happy Valley has given us a fun first half. And this second half will likely come down to which offense can figure something, anything out. Take some chances, get creative. Both offensive coordinators had full heads of hair at the start of this game, but right now, they look like cue balls after one frustrating first half.
Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. They start this third quarter with the lead, but they might want to think about shoring up that protection.
Yeah, the good news is you're leading on the scoreboard. The bad news is your quarterback doesn't feel like it because you can't protect him. So, David, adjustments in pass protection, that has to be something they were talking about here at halftime.
100%. Just you can't get him hit that much. He's still doing a good job delivering the football, but if you keep hitting the quarterback enough, man, they'll start to see ghosts, they'll panic, and they'll make some of those mistakes.
Quick pass on the fly motion. Spins away from the defense. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. Wide receiver comes in motion. Looking to pass. It's Aller. Bringing the heat. That pass not close as he got drilled trying to deliver it, and it'll bring up 4th down. The Nittany Lions decide to punt it away. They'll have to boot it away for the first time tonight. Good job by the coverage unit to stop the return man. FIU gets it back, and the Panthers will send the offense back onto the field. They really didn't move the ball at all the last time they had it, hoping for better fortune this time around. Trying to move them on the counter. Defense is there to greet him again, and they are ready, and he has found nowhere to run tonight. Not what they had in mind to start this drive. Here comes 2nd and 13. Wants to go up top. Here's a hit. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
Well, this offense keeps giving up sacks, and they keep finding themselves in situations like this, 3rd and long right now. They don't have many points in this game, and this is a big reason why. It's hard to score if you don't keep the 3rd downs manageable. So moving forward, whether it's running the football on 1st and 2nd or throwing short passes earlier in the drives, they've got to change things up because taking sacks like this is killing this offense.
Takes a handoff. It's Owens. He did not make it a stonewall on 3rd down. FIU will line up to punt. 3 and out. They got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. He'll get away another punt. He's been really active today, and no doubt he's going to earn his varsity letter. He gets it up to the 34-yard line before he stopped, and that's where the offense will set up shop. Opening play of this drive comes from the 34. Tight end now in motion. Dropping back, it's Aller. Throws to the wideout. Intercepted, and finally this defense makes a play. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
QB never saw the defender. He's staring his receiver down, telegraphing his throw, and the DB jumped all over that.
Drives ahead for 3 to the 27-yard line. FIU pushing tempo.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you've got to be prepared.
Finds the tight end. He's really close to that 1st down marker, but they stop him just a bit short. On 3rd and short, they keep it on the ground here. Knocked down in the backfield, and that'll bring up 4th down. Looks as if they'll send out the field goal unit. He'll try to put one down the boulevard from 42 yards out. It's good. He hit that one right down the middle.
And that's a really good response by this defense. Their offense throws an interception, puts them in bad field position. They respond with a stop, force a field goal. Yeah, they got 3 points, but great job by this defense.
Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. Well, the good news about this drive, Jesse, it can't go worse than last time through a pick on the first play.
No, it certainly can't. I think one good way, David, to help your quarterback turn the page is just find him an easy completion here and let him get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, or find him an easy handoff. Just hand the football off, maybe get the ground game going, maybe jumpstart this offense a little bit.
They'll knock him down after a 6-yard gain to the 27.
Coaches always harp about staying ahead of the chains, and when you can run with that type of efficiency on 1st down, man, you are doing just that.
Leaves it with the back. That'll be enough for a fresh set of downs. He gets it to the 32.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the 3rd quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field.
Good pickup on the ground, and they'll mark him down at the 39.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yards.
Got it behind the line. It's Reynolds. And he gets it to the 45-yard line, and that'll be a 1st down. The Nittany Lions look to keep this drive humming. They'll give it to the back. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
Solid pickup of 4 on 1st down and 2nd and 6. They went right back to him, and this time the defense was all over him. Nothing to show for that run.
Man, not much wiggle room for the ball carrier there.
I'm not really sure what they can do to try to create some space.
I know. Block better. How about the offensive lineman push some guy backwards and make some holes?
They'll make the stop about 3 yards short of the 1st down.
8-yard line. Offense facing 4th down.
Despite failing earlier on 4th down, they will try again here. Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. On 4th down, they'll try to throw it. It's incomplete, and the defense comes up with a stop.
Great coverage on that 4th down play. Nice job blanketing the receiver out wide. The defense, you could tell, they knew they were going for it. They had a game plan. They get the big stop and turn it over to their offense.
They'll leave it with him. He's stopped in the backfield again, and this just hasn't been his night. It's been more like a nightmare.
Well, it's a negative play trying to run the football, and I think if you're on offense, you got to be thinking about throwing it now. You're trailing by a lot. You got to get back in this game. You need tempo, and you need explosive plays through the air.
On 3rd and long, doesn't need to take the check down. Great style points on that catch, but they didn't pick up any yardage. FIU will line up the punt. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. He'll field the punt and take it back. Really nice job all the way around. Got a few blocks, made a couple of moves, and a good return on that one before he's pushed out of bounds. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. There have been a couple of missed opportunities for these offenses in the last couple of drives, Jesse.
And I think for this offense here, it'd be nice to hit an explosive play, be aggressive, and really pay off your defense's effort that last drive.
And instead of having to move the ball down the field consistently and then getting stopped on 4th downs, you're right. Create some of those explosives. Take those deep shots. Make those big plays.
Lining up in the Wildcat. Let's see what they've got. Back has it. toss it. Direct snap. It's Singleton. He'll try to do it himself. At midfield, he's got room. They make the tackle, but not before he finishes off this third period with a big play. And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody, based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. One final period to play, and we'll see who can grab that W as we start the fourth. So first down, we'll open up the final period. Use the play fake, now to throw. Grabbed in the middle, it's Allen.
It really just feels like they are trying to make a statement to everybody in college football. They've got a lead, they've got it late, and they are still putting it on this defense. They are still letting it fly. They're airing it out, trying to light up the scoreboard.
There to stop him after a pickup of 1 to the 22.
And when you're down later in the football game, you got to start taking some chances. And that was a beautiful run blitz. Great job playing the probability, understanding it might be a run to run some clock. And they guess right, and they make a big play for this defense.
Well, if this offense is going to win this game, and down the road, if they're going to reach the college football playoff and hope to win a national championship, they have got to keep this quarterback clean. Couldn't do it on that last play.
Let's third and long from the 22. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down.
And the offense got themselves in a tough situation. Third and long, so hard to execute, especially when the field starts to shrink. But the good news is they got a field goal in their back pocket.
It's wise not to be too greedy, and they'll go ahead and send out the field goal unit. It's good, and that was dead solid perfect. And now the lead is even bigger.
And they just tack on more points to this big lead. Listen, fourth quarter was sitting extremely pretty. All we got to do, not give up big plays, make them earn everything they get the rest of this way, and we looking pretty good.
The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Looking for space, it's Owens. Shakes off the defender. They finally wrestle down the senior, but not before he picks up some valuable ground. FIU pushing tempo.
Defense gives up the pretty big run. They get the first down. And listen, you got to reload quick now because this offense, they got their foot on the accelerator.
Rush coming in hot, and they got him at the 29.
Man, this poor quarterback, he's got no time. You got to protect your quarterback. You got to find different ways to do it. Sometimes it's not working with 4 wide receivers. Maybe you bring in a couple tight ends, go max protection, more guys blocking, less guys in route. You got to find something to have success.
Cross the 30 out to the 33, engage 4 on the play.
See, they need more runs like that. It's been so few and far between. Defensively, they've been in position. They've been winning their one-on-one battles, getting off of blocks and rallying to the ball carrier. This defense has done a nice job slowing down the run game thus far.
Down by multiple possessions. They can't come up empty on this drive in the fourth quarter. They'll go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Converts on fourth down. Still going. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks. FIU set up with another first down.
Hey, I got to be honest. I don't know if the defense was expecting that type of throw on fourth down. It looked like they were all huddled close to the line of scrimmage, looking for something in the quick game, but instead the quarterback takes a shot vertically down the field, catch the defense off guard.
Lost 1 on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Back to throw, it's Jenkins. And the heat gets home. They knock him down back at the 45. Now 3rd and long and trying to play catch-up in more ways than one after that earlier sack. Rushes on him. And he feels the heat coming and it burns him up. Another sack. Down in the fourth quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on fourth down. The incomplete pass makes this series end in frustration as they turn it over on downs. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. be a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense.
The quarterback just lost track of the play clock, didn't get the snap off quickly enough. So they come to the line, and the Wildcat going to give them a different look. They'll keep it on the ground, trying to milk the clock. He's got the first down, and they did a brilliant job getting them out flanked with the Wildcat. With that, he's got 101 yards rushing, and with that run, he's now over 100 yards on this opening day. Wildcat look didn't get much. Picked up a few on that one.
You know, I really like this QB running the football because I know he's got a lot of speed, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. So he's not going to be able to break a lot of tackles. You really got to do a good job of trying to scheme ways to get him out.
Oh, they knock him free. Recovers the fumble, and he's on the move. Knocked down, but not before he gets the first down after recovering the fumble.
Those are so frustrating when you're a defense and you swarm to the football, and you stick the quarterback, and you make him cough it up. Just
intercepted deep in his own end.
And what a great job by the defense that time. Cover one, man coverage. And did you see how everybody was impressed? When you press receivers, you disrupt their timing. You get your hands on them at the line of scrimmage. You jam them. And it completely disrupts the quarterback and his thought process. And that time, that was a big reason that ball got INT'd.
A 7-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 3. And the Panthers racing to the line in the hurry-up.
This offense has their work cut out for him, man, because the coverage has been so tight.
And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Here comes the heat. And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again. FIU will line up to punt. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. He gets it away from his own end zone. Wants to bring it back. And the returner could find no daylight. He goes down. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. Firmly in control of this game. We'll see if they just try to run out the clock and get out with a victory.
Everybody on offense here should feel really good about their performance today too, David. They had a really good game plan coming into this one, and they went out and they executed at a very high level.
Yeah, lights out, and this game's over. I'm interested to see the philosophy now. Do we keep chucking the pill and keep trying to score points? Because it's the defense's responsibility to stop them, or do they just run this clock and say, all right, we did enough today. We kicked them in the face.
They've moved it to the 19, 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
Oftentimes with play action, you're asking the quarterback to hold on to the ball a bit longer, and you're asking this offensive line to hold up and pass pro a bit longer. Against this athletic front seven on defense, it's going to be tough.
Toss to the outside. Maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
We've seen this guy have tons of success. He had over 100 yards right before that run, but defense gets the better of him there. Nice job of adjusting up front, and good job being physical by that D-line, too.
On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. Pass rush coming after the quarterback, and they get him at the 32.
Pretty nice as a defense, right? When you can go nickel, put 5 DBs on the field and not have to blitz anyone, trusting your front 4 to get the job done on 3rd down, and they do it right there, getting the sack.
Here comes the Wildcat. Watch out here. Direct snap. Unloads to the wideout. Caught over the middle. It's Pena. He didn't make it. They'll have to give up the football, and hope is still alive.
Offense is stopped. Will be returned on down.
Scanning the field, it's Jenkins. He wants a big play here late. A sensational grab down the field there as they try to at least put a positive spin on the end of this game. Timeout is called with just a single second left. And after this play, the cake will be baked. Looking downfield on 1st down. Here's a throw downfield late. And the pass falls to the ground, and the ball game is over. We sensed a great deal of confidence, almost a smugness from this coaching staff. And these guys on the field, it's as if they knew they were going to win.
Yeah, playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and I think they really felt like they had a real good game plan offensively and defensively coming into this one, David. There were some matchups on the field they thought they could exploit. We saw that happen.
No doubt. Good job by this coaching staff, understanding who's out there to make plays, feeding them the football, offense, defense, special teams, all working together to get the W.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football. They say games are played on the field and not on paper, and that's a good thing. Because if this one were played on paper, it might get ugly, but you never know what's going to happen. Welcome to the home of the Penn State Nittany Lions, Beaver Stadium in State College, Pennsylvania. As we'll see a squad from Conference USA, the Florida International Panthers, taking on the second-ranked team in the land, the Penn State Nittany Lions. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's tee this one up. The Panthers about to kick it away and get this season started. He'll start the return inside his 5. And a really nice job by the kick team to get down there and make sure they limit that return. So Penn State's offense will get first crack at it today. Let's take a quick second to call out some of the impact players their coaches mentioned in meetings this week. Anything you guys heard that really resonated with you?
Yeah, I love when coaches talk about guys that bring it every single day. Like, that we can depend on them. They can get other guys lined up. They're always motivated. They're always being a great teammate. These are the guys that coaches love.
And big-time players make big plays in big games, right? These are the guys that have to play well if they're going to win games like this. It'll be interesting to see what they do today.
The delay of game pushes the offense back. An unforced error there. They don't get the snap off in time.
Delay of game. Offense.
Offense took a little bit too much time at the line there. They weren't able to get that one off. It'll be a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense.
The offense couldn't get the snap off in time, and it'll cost them. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. The Nittany Lions buried deep in their own territory, just trying to find breathing room on first down. Quick completion on the out route. And he's knocked down immediately, but a good pickup on that play. Guys, let's think big picture for a minute and talk about Penn State. They lose in the semis last year. Any potential for a hangover this season?
I don't think so, and I think they obviously didn't finish last season the way they wanted to, but having the success they had, David, that opened the eyes to a lot of players around the country. They wanted to come here.